Hey guys, I'm Nick. Welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Well, today we're talking about episode 6 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, entitled Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. Interesting episode, this one. This was definitely a bit of a throwback to some of the episodes I remember from original series, more specifically stuff like Taste of Armageddon, where we had, planets of people, voluntarily walking into machines to kill themselves for the betterment of the planet. We had a little bit of a spin on that sort of topic, I guess, in this episode, where we had everybody praising this young boy who, let's face it, is basically a battery for the planet, which, is... I guess it's one of those episodes that draws a light on science fiction subjects to kind of highlight, I suppose, to what price is too high for paradise. If to live in paradise, well, how much are we willing to pay and sacrifice to have all these nice things that obviously these Magellans do? And it's killing small children, which isn't good, and obviously our crew finds out about that. Star Trek has always been at its best when it's sort of shone a light on on this on these sorts of issues. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Finatics yet, please don't forget to click on that red button to stay up to date and current with the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. So we're going to have a look through this episode, talk about some of the talking points. So before we get started, here is a very quick sponsored message I think you guys are going to be really interested in. As sci-fi fans, we understand how critical it is to protect ship systems from enemy attack. And the same is true for combating our PCs, laptops, and devices from online threats. That's why I love NordVPN for my cybersecurity, and for a limited time, they've teamed up with Sci-Finatics to offer a huge discount off both their 2-year and 1-year NordVPN plans, also with 3 threat protection. A deal any Ferengi would be jealous of. Nord has great benefits, including a warp speed VPN faster than all of the competitors, protection on up to 6 devices across every platform, and an easy to use one-click or auto connection. Now, I get a lot of people commenting to say, Nick, I can't even get the latest Star Trek episode you're talking about in my country yet. Well, that's no problem. NordVPN hides your IP address better than a cloaked Romulan warbird. Just change your virtual location to unlock region-blocked streaming and gaming sites, and never again be left in the cold when it comes to accessing all your favourite sci-fi TV movies, TV and content. If you want to grab this amazing deal that's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, use the exclusive link in the description to grab this special offer. Use the promo code Sci-Finatics and enjoy data and internet security LAN, Worf or Odo would be proud of. So obviously when the episode starts, we've got our crew in the Magellan system, we've got the Magellan shuttle under attack by another ship, and the technology for the other ship is pretty basic. They've got, very weak phasers that are barely even scratching the shields of the Enterprise, and they're using old grappling cables, which we haven't seen, I don't think, since Star Trek Enterprise. The original NX-01 under Archer's command had these grappling cables or whatever. So it's a pretty old technology ship, and before long we're introduced to Alora, Elder Gamal, and the First Servant, which all get beamed on board the Enterprise. Obviously, there's a relationship history there. Back when Pike was a lieutenant, he did an away mission where they had a bit of a fling with Alora in the past. And it seems like this episode is obviously rekindling some old feelings. We've got quite a funny scene in the transporter room where there's a bit of awkwardness there between Pike and Alora. Not seen each other for 10 years after having a bit of a thing for each other a little while ago. And before long, we learn about the the scientific breakthroughs this planet. It's obviously technologically very superior. They've obviously got floating cities in the clouds, which originally we thought from the trailer was going to be Stratos that we saw in the Cloud Minders for original series, but not the case. Obviously another planet, Magellan or whatever, who utilised possibly similar technology to Stratos. That we saw back in original series. And before long we work out that their technological advances on this planet are so up there that there's basically no disease. This kid is incredibly clever. He's got a very good scientific knowledge and everything behind him. But going by the very first away mission there to the crashed ship on the planet there to investigate the ship that shot the shuttle down that Alora and the others were on, we work out that not everyone's telling the full truth here. there's always something dodgy going on, in these Star Trek planets where they don't get quite told the full story. And you can tell from the get-go that, Alora's got something to hide. And obviously these attackers were originally Magellans as well. They've broken away and started their own kind of colony that obviously is against the murdering of small children to be used as batteries in their planet. Good for them. Sort of that aspect, I guess, reminds me a little bit of also some of the themes that were brought up in Star Trek Insurrection, how we had the Sonar and the Baku and how they were originally the same planet, they split off and there were different issues and philosophies there. I guess much like we've had different issues and philosophies between the Romulans and the Vulcans, where they split apart and chose different ways of living and so forth in the past. So there seems to be quite a few races out there in the galaxy that split apart to do their own thing. And it normally comes out of some, large philosophical change of how they're going to live their lives. And in this case, it's what price is too high to live in a paradise floating city in the clouds. And we've had a few other episodes of Star Trek like this, such as Taste of Armageddon. People were quite willingly walking to their death into machines to play out a computerized war in the original series episode Taste of Armageddon. It's just, how do we maintain our civilization? And everybody seems quite happy to I guess, look the other way or to, justify that the ends justify the means. But I guess they've just gotten used to living their cushy life for a bit too long. And it takes Pike and the Enterprise crew to kind of, I guess, shine a light on, hey, this is not okay. I love the look of Majalis, the planet here in the clouds with their beautiful gardens and architecture and everything. The sense of grandeur and opulence, I think, was really up there. It really kind of did a good job, I thought, of showing just how sort of cushy and comfy these people are. They live in this beautiful planet, manicured lawns and gardens and stuff, and they've got nice silk sheets on their beds and live in big castles and everything. It's all very opulent, but at a huge price, obviously. We had a bit of a fun chase scene there with one of the guards who got sprung, and he got sprung as one of these outsiders who is opposing the practices of the Magellans and was sort of willing to sacrifice himself, I guess, for his own beliefs. Good on him. And obviously there's that flipping of good guy, bad guy. I think there's been a few Star Trek episodes where we've done that, where the people who you think are the goodies turn out to be the baddies, and the people who are the baddies turn out to be the goodies. We had some nice scenes in this episode with Uhura on security detail working with Lan. Lan's a bit of a mean boss. I think she's got it, letting her position go to her head a little bit here. I think she was bossing Uhura around quite a bit and wasn't taking it easy on her at all. Although I did like the little impression that Pike did in the turbolift when he was talking to Uhura about what step in the process to kind of be careful of or be wary of and so forth. And there was a moment there where he did a little bit of a British accent to kind of take off Lan, which I thought was quite funny. And interesting that we found out early on that the technological advances, medically speaking, of the Magellans would be able to save Mbenga's daughter. This creepy thing that Mbenga's got going on, pulling his daughter in and out of the transporter buffer all the time. There's got to be some rules against this. It feels like what he's doing is fundamentally wrong and in some ways abusive to his daughter. Surely there's some sort of law against what he's doing there, because it does not seem right. And obviously we find out the Magellans there could potentially help his daughter, but again, it's that old adage of what price is too high to pay. To get that information. Down on the planet, obviously, we had some Pike taking a few pages from Kirk's book in this episode. He's getting a bit frisky with Alora there, rekindling the old relationship with her and having a bit of a sleepover. Obviously, Kirk was fairly adept with the ladies in the original series, so it seems like Pike is, maybe taking a little bit of a page out of Kirk's book in this episode. And as has happened in, more than one episode before, Uhura comes to the rescue with her great linguistic skills in terms of decoding the information from the crashed ship and working out exactly what the Magellans are up to. The boy gets transported away, but then is obviously found because he's so scientifically savvy that he's managed to fake his biosignature so that he can hide away in a cargo container. And he's quite willing to, to go through the process. I don't think they've kind of told this poor boy, the first servant, exactly what he's in for, because when he gets down to the planet later on and he's underground with the electric chair thing and seeing the corpse of the previous child being hauled out, I think he thinks, hey, hang on, the sales pitch that I was given doesn't talk about fried to a crisp young children. I think he was in for a bit of a shock when he saw that, which was pretty clear that, someone's not giving him all the facts. I was kind of surprised that the information that was given out in the trailer for this episode kind of, I think, probably revealed a lot of spoilery information. We had talks about the boy ascending, him underground with armed escorts leading him to what looked like an electric chair. I think that kind of almost spoiled the reveal as to what was going on in this episode, because I kind of saw it coming a mile away in terms of, right from that first moment, I think, when they were investigating the crash wreckage of the ship, and they asked Alora what the headgear was, and she looked completely dodgy and suspicious when she said, "I don't know what that is." Like that, I don't know. Like, you know, and I thought, okay, well, clearly she's lying. And then obviously with the information we'd seen in the trailer about, the talking about the first servant ascending, scenes of him being dragged towards an electric chair. I don't think it took very long in this episode to kind of work out what the twist was going to be, and I think because perhaps a few too many spoilery shots were handed out in the trailer, it was relatively easy to kind of work out what path we were heading down in this episode. Because us as the audience probably knew what was going to happen before our crew did, does that kind of make our crew seem a little bit less intelligent when we're kind of going, oh yeah, well, clearly they're going to plug this kid into some chair in the planet, which is not going to work out well for him. And it took a while for kind of Pike to realise that. So it's always a bit of a difficult situation when the audience potentially knows what's going on before our heroes do, because it kind of undermines their intelligence a little bit, I feel. I'm also glad at the end Menga got Elder Gamal to maybe give him a few little pointers and tips about how he might go about developing a treatment for his daughter, because, pulling the daughter in and out of the transporter buffer, that feels abusive to me. There's something not quite right about that. I don't feel that's really a healthy way of elongating her lifespan. I quite enjoyed this episode. It was it was quite interesting, I found, in terms of the moral and ethical questions that it raised. And it was definitely a bit of a throwback to original series style storytelling, mirroring episodes, much like Taste of Armageddon and so forth, which I think was kind of fun. Guys, let me know in the comment sections what you thought about this episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Leave a comment or two and let's get the conversation started up about episode 6 of Strange New Worlds. Guys, please leave a super thanks if you're able to. It really helps the channel out, much appreciated. If you can't, that's cool. Just leave a like and a comment. That always helps as well. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Check out my merch in the merch store where you can pick up all cool Star Trek, hoodies and mugs and caps and t-shirts and everything. And I believe there's a sale on at the moment. There's like a 20% sale about to happen in the next day or so. So be sure to check that out. And I'll be back very soon with my next video. I'll catch you guys soon.